What's up? We are coming to you live from the bowels of the Bodybuilding.com headquarters in beautiful Boise, Idaho, for this week's edition of What's Supp?
What's up?
We're going to talk about some of the promotions we have going on this week. It's 5 top brands for 25% off. Use the code SUMMER2017. 5 brands. We'll get into what those brands are. We're going to talk to you today about those supplements, answer your questions about ingredients, supplementation, nutrition, fitness. Tell me how your week was. Whatever you got, fire them our way. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you have your questions, you can direct them to us there. You follow us at Bodybuilding.com on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, hit us with your questions. And we'll start off with one of the first brands that is on promotion this week. NitroTech by MuscleTech.
NitroTech by MuscleTech. Here you go.
The MuscleTech.
All right. Well, tell us what we got here.
This here is the NitroTech Whey 2-pound. This is in the delicious milk chocolate flavor. And let's talk a little bit about the difference between this product versus others. And hopefully some questions will come in live to us and we'll answer them for you.
Absolutely. So the last few weeks, this one has thankfully been on promotion for everybody as well, and it's still here. This one, compared to most products, has got 30 grams of protein per serving, which...
Huge.
And with that, 160 calories a serving, so it'll help you kind of fill up if you're having it for a snack on those ends. And what we've talked about predominantly the last couple of weeks, creatine. This has 5 grams of creatine per serving.
Creatine in the protein?
Absolutely.
Wow. All right. Well, I know we love talking about creatine, so that's good. And this is a kind of a bigger serving compared to a lot of other proteins. I know I see a lot of proteins at 20 or 23 grams per serving. This one coming in at 30, that's pretty large. That's probably why the calories are just a little bit higher.
Oh, absolutely, and that's not a problem at all.
So anyway, that's NitroTech. What else do we got here?
Oh, before that, flavors-wise.
Oh, flavors.
So not just the delicious milk chocolate, but we also have brownie cheesecake, toasted s'mores.
S'mores is a good one.
Especially summertime. And vanilla birthday cake.
Oh, yummy.
Delicious.
All right.
So we get a lot of questions here on all the platforms about how many grams of protein we should be shooting for. I know we talk a lot about depending on your goals, but I kind of have some questions about that too. I'm trying to get enough protein every day to build some muscle. I take about 2 shakes, but really, how many grams of protein am I shooting for?
So as far as protein recommendations, it comes down to body weight. A lot of the recommendations or RDIs are based on body weight. And so they say if you're not trying to gain a bunch of mass, if you're trying to maintain, or if you're trying to just live healthy, the general recommendation is anywhere from 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And if you don't know, a kilogram of body weight is 2.2 pounds. So it's really easy to just take your body weight and divide it in half, and then you're getting very close to where you need gram-wise. So if I weigh 225 pounds, that's how much I weigh. I cut that in half, I'm at about 110 pounds, or 110 kilograms, plus or minus. I should be shooting for around 100 or 110 grams of protein a day. So.
And is it grams of desired body weight or current body weight?
Current body weight.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if I want to lose weight, if I want to cut down to 200, I still want to get the protein for what I weigh now.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you'd be in a little bit of a deficit there.
And I have a question on the YouTube from Mary Saul asking about this product and if she could take it if she's lactose intolerant. This is a whey product, so with that in mind, it is milk-based. So to keep from the tummy gurgles and the bloat that might feel, I would avoid taking this particular, I guess. There are plenty of different options on the site that are more isolate-based or hydrolyzed or even vegetable protein.
Yeah, well, this is mostly an isolate. If you look at the ingredients here, it starts with isolate as well as milk protein peptides. And generally they say that the whey protein isolate is a little bit safer for people who are lactose intolerant because they have gone through a couple of extra steps to isolate that protein and make it so that there's less lactose, there's less fat. But if you are very sensitive, very lactose intolerant, it would be safe to stay away from whey protein kind of in general. Even if it's an isolate or a concentrate or hydrolyzed, it may be better to just go with a soy protein or a pea protein or a beef protein or an egg protein. There's just so many options and probably safer ways to go about staying away from lactose.
Safer ways?
That's right.
Let's see. We got a question here. Hi guys, I've been only lifting for almost 6 months now and I'm trying to gain mass for at least 12 months. A lot of people tell me I can just eat whatever I want and a lot of it. Should I be more strict on diet or it would be okay to eat almost anything as long as I am training hard? From Simon.
Well, I think you're kind of headed in the right direction there, Simon. You definitely want calories. You want to be in a, I guess you wouldn't call it a calorie deficit. It would be the other way around. Surplus, a calorie surplus. Because your body needs a lot of energy to build. It needs those calories to build those proteins, to create those muscles that you want to grow. I would be careful making sure that those calories are good calories. You don't want to be eating a ton of saturated fats. You don't want to be eating a bunch of empty sugars. You will need some fun calories as well. Yeah. But I think right now, as long as you're lifting hard, lifting for strength and for size, if your calories are a little bit higher, I think you should be headed in the right general direction.
I'm all about that surplus.
All about it.
That's the place to live.
And if anything, it kind of gets you back in that honeymoon period of lifting. If you're just beginning, it's fun to see what fuel in the body will do. There's plenty of time to change your goals around and to maybe cut down. And once you learn more about how your body reacts to certain foods, certain training methods, there's so many things you can do with it. So
yeah, and I wondered, I think a lot of people think they're getting a lot of calories, but to really get in 3,000 to 5,000 calories or whatever it might be that you need, I recommend that you start tracking just so you have an idea of what you're actually consuming on a daily basis and have a better understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. You might think you're getting a lot of food. Some people don't eat breakfast, don't eat lunch, and then kind of have some big meal later in the day, and it's kind of junky food and it's high calorie, but it's still not that much. No. If you're eating every 2 to 3 hours and you're eating clean food, it's tough to get 3,000 to 4,000 calories if you're trying to grow. So I would start by tracking your macros, or at least tracking what you're eating to get an idea of how many calories you're taking in, and then start fine-tuning how much protein you're getting. I always try to prioritize protein. If you're trying to grow, make sure you get enough carbohydrates as well.
That's right, and that's where gainers come in. Say you've been eating as much as you can. You want to eat every 2 or 3 hours, but it's just difficult to get those calories. Yeah. Having a gainer shake is a really easy way to get 800.
Some of them, 1,000 calories.
Well, they have you take like 4. What do they call them? Heaping scoops.
Like a detergent
this
scoop.
Massive amount of powder that they say mix with whole milk, and all of a sudden it's 1,000 calories. So it's a good way to kind of get those extra calories. If you're having trouble just physically eating that much, those are really concentrated.
Never had that problem. We're getting a lot of questions coming in. Nancy wants to know what's better, protein or BCAAs?
Well, BCAAs are a form of protein. They're amino acids, and proteins are made of amino acids. So again, we're going to go back to our old faithful statement. It depends on what your goals are. If I want to try and gain weight, then I probably want to have a full protein that's got a little bit of extra calories in it. Generally, BCAA products are 0 calorie because they have those artificial sweeteners in there. Or there's those very low calorie sweeteners. And so BCAAs are a good way to get those amino acids into your body without all the extra calories. And if you're trying to lose weight, that may be a good way to get your amino acids. But if you're trying to gain, then you want the extra calories. You want the full protein.
Think of them from a tools perspective. The one can be used for one purpose, the other one can be used for another purpose. But in the end game is the same. So if you're trying to drink something small, or if you're doing cardio in the morning, you just want something sweet, BCAAs are a good option. If you're vegetarian, BCAAs are a great option, or if you're vegan, BCAAs are a great option. But if you're trying to be more creative with your food or want more of the calories, protein's where it's at.
And in the vein of BCAAs, Brian Trank from Facebook is asking, should he be using BCAAs to fight soreness? Them DOMs.
I have read a couple of studies that talk about supplementing with BCAAs, helping with some of the delayed onset muscle soreness. And that goes back to just having the amino acids available to rebuild that muscle. So delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS as it is known, is an inflammatory reaction to the damage that you're doing while you're working out. It's not about lactic acid buildup. That's a very quick kind of buildup and then take away of lactic acid. But the long-term damage is because of inflammation and because of tears that you're doing in your muscles. And so you want to be able to repair that damage as quickly as possible, and having those BCAAs available is going to make that happen just a little bit quicker.
Hans wants to know, what is the best protein isolate? He's trying to get lean.
Is he asking about brands?
Didn't say specifically. So I guess that comes down to a couple different things. One, flavors, or what are you looking for? It depends on the value you're looking for, what's your budget. But I think you're heading in the right direction by going with an isolate, depending on your goals. If you're trying to get lean, to me that sounds like he's picking the right protein to start with. Flavors, then you can run the gamut. We have a bunch of products that are on promotion this week for 25% off. Use the code SUMMER2017. Do we have any isolates in that list right now that we can think
the
of?
Nitro-Tech is mostly isolate.
Oh, there you go. And these flavors are bomb. So we have this one's milk chocolate. We were talking about s'mores. We have
brownie cheesecake.
Brownie cheesecake. So depending on what your goal is, I don't know if you're asking about flavors. There's a ton of them. If you're trying to get lean, I would definitely go with an isolate. It sounds like the right protein for you. And then Muhammad is asking, which supplement is good for health and an increase in weight or mass. I think we've been talking a lot about that today.
You definitely
people
need
trying to
increase in
gain
weight.
size. Yeah, not a lot of people trying to get shredded for summer. Apparently, we're bulking into this.
We're
We're bulking into the beach season. I love it. So you want to grow into the size that you want to be.
Fill out those board shorts.
Exactly, fill them out. So,
I got
which
some
supplement's
questions
good for
over here.
health and increasing weight and mass? I think we touched on it briefly. Sorry, is getting those calories.
That's
in,
right.
Extra calories, be in the surplus. Prioritizing protein. We have a bunch of them on sale. There's tons of products like that. We'll get into some creatine stuff. I think that'll probably be a great one for gaining some mass.
And then I would recommend lifting for hypertrophy as well. And I know that requires going for, I think it's anywhere from 8 to 12 reps range for most of your exercises.
Well, that and it can also be time under tension as well. That's another. You can do lower rep, but as long as you're focusing on the actual stretch of the muscle time versus just trying to bounce it off your chest all the time. Yeah, go slow. Actually count out loud to yourself. That's going to do more than just trying to thrust the weight.
That's right, and that'll lead to much better gains when it comes to size.
Absolutely.
So if I'm looking over here at Twitch, we do have a couple of questions over here from Jinx. It's they ask, is it true that the body can only use 30 grams of protein at once, Alec?
Can it use all that at once?
Can it use that? Can it use more than that? Can it not use that much?
That's a great question. Have you read anything about how much the body can actually absorb at one time?
I've never read anything that specifically said, any more than this and it's just going to be wasted. Now, generally with food, if you have a big bolus all at once, then you might not retain all of it. And if you take a little bit at a time, you're going to be more likely to have all of it, available to you. I can't think of an exact number. I don't think 30 grams is like a biological number in any way. But if you wanted to have 2 protein shakes at 20 grams over a period of 3 or 4 hours instead of 1 protein shake that was 40 grams all at once, you may be more likely to absorb it. Like I said, I can't think of any specific number.
No. Having said that, like even with meals, like I'll have 8+ ounces of chicken at a time, and that's sometimes up to 60 grams. And whether or not I'm absorbing it, that's a good question. However, it definitely helps me stay full.
Yeah.
So Anmar's asking, I guess they have a gluten disease, and they want to know which protein is best for them to gain mass.
Well, most products are going to make a gluten-free claim, and they will probably want to shoot for that. I think most products in the marketplace are going to be wanting to go after that demographic. And
right here, gluten-free. It says it right on the package. Combat Whey, which is on promotion right now, says gluten-free.
Combat. And with that, they're required to test for that sort of claim as well. I know that working with some of my brands have had to confirm. So that claim on the label, I would be very confident in that.
Yeah. And he said he was mentioned in gaining weight as well. Yeah. So you got to be cognizant of the carb source that they're using. If they're using a wheat-based carb or anything that contains gluten, you want to be a little more wary of that. Some of those people will still make gluten claims because they can try and filter it out. But I guess read your labels, make sure your carb sources are non-gluten containing grains. Generally, a lot of the carbs will come from something like maltodextrin, which is just straight sugar, and you wouldn't have to worry about gluten for that. But like Alex said, all those brands, they want to tell you if their product is gluten-free because it's in their benefit to advertise to people who are gluten sensitive. And if they are making a statement of gluten-free on the front of the label, they have tested it.
Good to go.
It's very strict on those guidelines, so I would feel safe with that. I have a question over here. I guess it's more of a statement. So I've been noticing that proteins for women generally taste really sweet, and it's too sweet. Is there anything we can do about that?
Is there anything we can do about that, or the person themselves?
I guess it depends on what brands are we talking about. I think that comes down to a personal preference. I don't know if women's brands in particular are sweeter for some reason. I've never heard of such a thing. Could be some truth to that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I like sweet, to be fair. So
yeah, generally the popular choice is to have a nice sweet protein so you can enjoy it. It tastes kind of like a dessert. I know that some of the more natural brands have kind of gone away from some of the super sweet flavors. I know we've talked about the Gym protein line, and they have some natural flavors, like their white chocolate raspberry is really toned back on the sweetness, so that might be a good decision to maybe try that one. It's a good quality protein.
Yeah, and as a female, you're totally okay to take Combat Whey over something product or whatever.
It's all protein.
Exactly.
As long as you don't have any dietary restrictions, it shouldn't be an issue.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Mel wants to know, does creatine make you bulky or help with muscle gain in females?
All right. Well, we're back to creatine.
Yeah.
I know we love talking about
waiting
creatine.
for it,
So,
yeah.
is it going to make you bulky? So, the issue with creatine, or the idea behind supplementing with creatine, is that it helps replenish your phosphocreatine system, which is your first line of energy when it comes to doing resistance exercise. And so, if I'm supplementing with creatine every day, I'm making sure that my phosphocreatine is saturated. I have as much as I can possibly get, and because of that, I'm able to do more resistance exercise. I'm able to lift a little bit heavier, and hopefully this will allow me to get better increases in strength. Now, there have been studies done that show that sometimes when people supplement with creatine, their muscles tend to absorb just a little bit more water. Some people feel just a little bit bloated when they take creatine. This isn't everybody. It's definitely person to person, so it might be worth giving it a shot. I wouldn't say that taking creatine automatically makes you bulky, but it would be a great way to try it out and see if it can help you with your strength gains.
I think what's going to be more in tune with that is your diet going with it, your training methods. If you're more of a power lifter and you're trying to get that, yeah, it's going to happen. You're probably in a giant surplus of calories.
So it's more the training style and your calories than the actual creatine that's going to make you bulky.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
You might be drinking 2.5+ gallons of water a day as well.
Yeah, I've seen that. So that's a lot of water.
Detrick says, love my protein.
I think we all love our
protein
here.
as well.
Absolutely.
All of it.
That's a daily.
Because protein. Is it true that creatine obligates us to drink water 2 to 3 times more than we normally drink, since it retains water that's normally necessary for the kidneys?
So I don't know of a lot of studies that look at creatine and its effect on the kidneys and how it affects how much water you're drinking. From a personal standpoint, my answer would be no. I don't drink any more water than I did before once I started supplementing with creatine, and I haven't noticed any systemic changes in how I feel or how my kidneys work or urination or anything like that.
Okay.
But if you're taking creatine, that probably means that you're exercising quite a bit, and if you're exercising a lot, then it's never a bad idea to drink a lot of water.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Speaking of which,
That's right.
drink my water. Do we have any questions coming in
Yes.
from YouTube?
This is a good training question. I feel like it's just fun to answer. Best type of exercise for getting good traps? Deadlifts.
Power
Deadlifts.
cleans?
For traps.
Absolutely.
You want to dive a little deeper into that?
Well, to go with that,
Says the guy who just did traps yesterday.
yeah, well, I mean, like for an isolation movement, that's one thing. But then to get the most bang for your buck, absolutely barbell deadlifts. Depending upon what grip, you want to go alternative grip or if you want to go double overhand. I would recommend double overhand personally if you're going to actually working on building a muscle group versus actual strength. Strength, alternate grip is where it's at. But if you're...
They can't see your hands.
Well, double overhand.
There you go.
If you're doing that and you're pulling the tension out of the bar prior to pushing off the ground, your upper back is going to be slightly more engaged anyway, and the pull through, it's just, I don't know, my experience and with most of my lifting buddies, I would say deadlifts.
I see a lot of people doing overhead shrugs. Have you seen that overhead barbell shrugs?
I have not
Is there
seen
any
those.
thoughts behind that, or
When you push
I've
your...
tried it. I didn't think it was that awesome, but I just see it's all over the grams. I see people doing it in the gym.
You can do
They
that
have
with,
big traps. I want big traps.
you can do that with a pull-up bar too. You can jump up there, grab, and just pull with your shoulder blades up. Same thing, except pushing out of the ground.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
And you get to play with the body weight a little bit more that way. And what's another good one?
What are you feeling on augmented proteins? And do you know the reason why Pro Complex removed most of their vitamin addition about 2 years ago? That's a very specific question.
I don't know what augmented protein means. I've never
Stumped.
seen that. Yeah, I've never seen that term on
Fake
a protein
protein,
before.
no.
Yeah. As far as vitamins go,
That would be with the optimum on that one.
That's a
whatever the decision
specific,
made.
yeah. I don't think we can answer that one specifically, but keep those questions coming. Roman has us, I think this twice, so sorry I missed it earlier, but I work in the ER 12 to 16 hour shifts, 3 to 4 days a week, and I can't eat every 3 hours all the time. Is it safe to have shakes, and how many in place of meals? I'm trying to lose weight.
I think it is safe to have shakes instead of meals to an extent. You don't want to live off of shakes. I know they make those shakes like Soylent or something like that that are supposed to be meal replacements. But if you look at protein labels, generally you'll read the disclaimer that protein shakes are not meant to be instead of food. You want to maintain a good, healthy diet. And if that means you're only able to eat good meals 2 or 3 times a day, then do what you can. But if you still need to get those extra calories, those extra macros, proteins are not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I think that happens to when people are dieting to try to lose weight. They kind of overcompensate by restricting calories almost too much, and then you have this slingshot effect where you're going to be eating too many calories later in the day. So I think you're on the right track trying to eat every few hours. That is tough when you're working those long shifts. So you want to make sure you're getting your meals in. We do have these aren't meal replacement. Again, this is just another way to supplement your protein and kind of hit your macros and curb that sweet tooth or keep you on track instead of eating a candy bar, grabbing something quick, something like this, like a combat bar, packed with protein, pretty delicious.
They're really
Fiber in both Fitmiss, and I've had these. These are delicious. These are not just for women. I eat these all the time, and they're fantastic.
Aren't they
the lemon
delightful?
bar, yeah, it's really good.
lemon flavor.
So these products on sale, 25% off. Use the code SUMMER2017 for all the products you're seeing here, and it's a line drive. So that means not just this one product or this one product, but the whole brand is on sale.
The whole brand.
So check it out. Keep your questions coming.
I got one over here.
Yeah, from Twitch here. So hello
from
out
Twitch,
there in
from
Twitch.
Frankie Tanky. Beyond protein, creatine, and fish oil, what supplements do you think a gamer in his 30s should be taking? I work out 3 times a week, but what else do you think?
I'll say fish oil. You need a good fish oil.
He said he's got fish oil.
He's got the fish oil.
Creatine, fish oil,
Oh.
and protein. Well,
What's your goal?
okay, so what's your goal? Are you trying to lose weight, trying to gain weight, you trying to maintain? What's your diet like? Are you eating your leafy greens? Are you eating your fruits? Are you getting all your vitamins? And if not, a multivitamin might not be a bad idea. Someone on here mentioned a vitamin D supplement, since gamers may not see the sunshine very often, so that's definitely true. But I think one important thing, gamers tend to sit in a chair for a very long period of time, and so even though you're working out 3 times a week, which is a thumbs up, which is good, I recommend standing up every half hour, 45 minutes, hour, and just moving around, doing a couple stretches, touch your toes, maybe do some high knees or something, get some blood flowing, and that'll just help you with any cardiovascular risk or any issues with staying stagnant for too long, because that can be very detrimental to your health in and of itself.
I was going to say, if you're a gamer, this is generally speaking, you're probably a fan of the stims anyway, so I would say as long as you're consuming a decent amount of caffeine, not overdoing it.
No such thing. I love caffeine. All the caffeines.
I was lying there. I can't say that.
In the vein of caffeine, I've had this question come up a couple times from Shamir. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but an alternative for C4. We sell a ton of different pre-workouts. C4 is one of them. In the C4 family, there's 5 of them now or something. So we have tons of C4 alternatives. C4 is a great product, but if you're looking to mix it up and try a different flavor or try different products that have different ingredients, I would kind of ask, what do you like about C4 and what maybe don't you like? So then we could guide you to a product that can be complementary or give you something that you're not getting from that experience. One we do have on sale, just a quick plug, from MuscleTech. We have the X5, the Vapor X5 Next Gen in candy watermelon.
That was a fantastic segue.
Yeah, you like that? Smooth as silk. Didn't even notice the plug. But we have tons of pre-workouts, tons of them available now. This one's on sale, as well as the GAT Nitraflex. Maybe we can talk a little bit about these, and hopefully you can pull something out of that that will help your experience in the gym, what you're looking for to kind of replace your C4.
Well, I know with the Bodybuilding.com website, if you find a pre-workout that you like, or if you find a brand that you like, you can isolate what it is that you like about it. So say that I like products with beta-alanine. Then you can go into the search bar, you can type in beta-alanine, and it'll show you all the products that have that same ingredient in it, with it. And so with C4, say you want to stick with a Cellucor product, you can type in Cellucor and it'll show you all the C4 products that they have, everything within their ID series, whether it's the C4 Zero or the C4 Ultimate or the, what are some of the other, I think they have C4 Neuro now. Yeah, so there's so many different options just within that line. But say there's an ingredient in the C4 that you really like that you don't see in the rest of their line, you can search for that ingredient and it'll show you all the products that we saw on the website that'll be close to that. So,
for instance, these 2 products, Nitraflex is pretty solid in terms of a good nootropic base, and flavors are definitely different. You don't see a lot of black cherries out there, but that one's easily my favorite.
I have a question here about supplements to avoid ab cramps. I don't know if we could speak specifically to ab cramps, but cramps in general. It's more of a hydration thing, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I would say that's multiple factors. One, are you tracking your food to know that you're getting enough potassium in your day? I know that the regulations are definitely changing on the facts panels of products to increase your daily value percentage of that, and for good reason. For your neurotransmitters to be healthy, sodium, potassium. Some people are afraid of salt, but salt's actually a very good thing if you're quite active. To a degree. Not like you don't want to go overboard, but make sure you get enough water, potassium a day. Sometimes, there's some people that believe that taurine helps them. Sometimes.
I think I've heard that once or twice, that taurine helps.
It's more anecdotal than most.
That's a good description, yeah. And I know when it comes to ab cramps, usually people experience those when they're running. And I know I've read studies that show that cramps can be due to hydration status or electrolyte status, but also fatigue status. So muscles generally tend to cramp when they're more tired than they usually are. And so if you're just kind of getting back into running, or maybe you don't run very much as a part of your program, then the muscles that you're using are going to be a little bit weaker. And so if you want to decrease the amount of cramps that you're getting, try continuing with that exercise, pushing yourself a little bit further so you're strengthening up those muscles, and that'll decrease the amount of...
This is anecdotal, but I find I don't do a lot of abs. I don't train abs specifically, as you can probably tell. But when I do, I get cramps right away. Like I'll hit like a set of abs, and I'm like, oh, never doing that again, cramping up. So I think that's a good point. If you're cramping up from doing abs, maybe you need to do abs more frequently. Maybe you need to warm them up a little bit. Try stretching. Make sure you're getting enough water, and watch your sodium. I've actually seen a really interesting YouTube video from Stan Efferding on the efficacy of sodium in your diet as a really important micronutrient that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. So
I'd like to see that.
It's really interesting. So check it out. The YouTube's is a great resource. Follow us at Bodybuilding.com. Subscribe to our channel. We're publishing videos every day. We're live to you now on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We're talking about supplements that are on sale, but also fielding your questions. So if you have any questions about ingredients, specific products, shoot them our way. We're happy to try to answer your questions about your fitness goals, anything you'd like to know. How are you doing? Tell us how you're feeling today. Excited for the week. What's your goals this week? Let us know. We'll talk about them.
I got a good question over here. Do you recommend weights in the morning with some carb intake, or in the evening I'm leaning out and do weights in the morning? Tyler and I are both morning gym goers. I always have a carb source before. My go-to is honestly just OG Cheerios beforehand.
No honey nut?
No honey nut.
Oof.
Sorry.
No,
but do that. It's actually a decent amount of potassium in the cereal itself, which again, back to what we were just talking about. I track mine just to make sure that I'm getting enough, especially before I lift, where I'm going to be contracting muscles on the regular there. But that, and you have a little bit of extra energy in your tank, frankly. Right. And I can never do anything active without having anything in my stomach. So
yeah, I mean, those carbs will act as a fuel source, and they'll make sure that you have all the energy you need to get those lifts in, get those big gains.
Exactly.
All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 questions about BCAAs. So we're going to try to address all those here now. We appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. I'm also seeing some creatine questions coming in. So first, why BCAAs? What are some good ones to take? What do we recommend? And what was the other BCAAs? I think let's start there. Why, what, and what do we recommend?
All right, so let's start with what. Yep. So the BCAAs are the branched chain amino acids. It's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And they're particularly active in the process within your body that generates muscle cell proliferation. There's a biochemical pathway called the mTOR pathway that leucine stimulates, that makes it so your body starts building muscle. It's called anabolism, which is the process of building back protein after it breaks down. Anabolic. So you've heard people talk about being in an anabolic state, which means that you are building more protein than you are breaking down. And so the branched chain amino acids, and most specifically leucine, are very good at activating this pathway to make sure that your body is always in this anabolic state. And so that's why we want to supplement them. We want to make sure that our body is constantly building, because once you start exercising a lot, your body's going to be breaking down those proteins, whether it be from damage that you do from lifting heavy, or whether it's to create energy. Your body wants to break those down, but you want to tell it to build back up.
So
right?
What's the deal with the ratios? I always see that 2, 1,
So
1, 4,
the ratios come from where the studies are. We know that leucine is generally pretty active when it comes to the mTOR pathway, when it comes to that anabolism, and so a lot of the studies have looked at a 2 to 1 to 1 ratio, 2 of leucine to 1 valine to 1 isoleucine. And so because that's where a lot of the studies are, that's where a lot of the supplements are. Now, some of the products that we're promoting today actually have tried a different ratio, and I haven't seen the studies on these ratios, so I'm interested to learn how they come out. But they have a 3 leucine to 2 valine to 1 isoleucine ratio, and I'd be really interested to dive into what the advantages are to that ratio, if there are advantages, if it's better, if it's not. And so I'm interested to see how that comes out. But generally, like I said, they're good for helping you maintain an anabolic state. They taste great. They come in all these amazing flavors. I mean, dozens and dozens of different flavors between the different brands. I've seen a lot of products that have caffeine with their BCAAs. So they make a really good kind of morning pick-me-up pre-workout.
Like a low-stim pre,
And like I said, they're just it's a pretty solid supplement.
Yeah.
Usually pretty cheap and easy to get your hands on.
Yeah, less scientific than that reply, but I find I drink a lot of aminos. One, because they taste good, which you hit on, but it helps me get in a lot more hydration and water. If you're shooting for a gallon or more a day, I find it difficult to just drink that much water. So adding a little flavor to your water and having some recovery benefits. And I want to be anabolic and grow muscle all day, so more aminos, I guess.
And to go with that, again, what Tyler said, some of the products that are actually on promotion, these are not, again, not all that are on promotion for these brands, 5 in particular, they're 25% off with the Summer 2017 code.
Summer 2017.
MuscleTech has their Amino Build Next Gen that has a Icy Rocket Freeze flavor. They like to use that across a lot of their products, but honestly, it's probably my favorite flavor of a BCAA product I've ever had. Then again, makes me think of ice cream when you're a little kid.
So good.
I'm getting a lot of creatine questions. Do you have anything coming in on Twitch that you want to address?
I do have one question real quick from Ginger Snaps 2025. He says, I'm 27 years old. I want to help build muscle quickly. I have heard of test boosters, etc. What's a good one to help with muscle growth? Well,
actually, a solid one that is on promotion this week with the brands. You have GAT's. Is that the multivitamin or is that
vitamin test booster?
Multi-plus test.
Well, True Grit is one of the brands that's also on promotion this week. It's just literally called Test Booster. It is a fantastic product. It's got 300 mg of fenugreek in it, which I would say confidently the fenugreek is one of the better natural testosterone boosting ingredients.
Pretty highly studied on the fenugreek. It's one of the botanical extracts that has been shown to increase free testosterone and help with some of those anabolic gains as well. So that's not a bad place to start. Again, you're 27 years old, so I wouldn't expect someone at 27 to be dealing with too many issues with lack of testosterone.
Depends.
If you're trying, let's see, help with muscle growth, so just be lifting heavy, make sure you're getting the calories that you need to build the muscle, and start there. And if you find that you're unsuccessful with those strategies, then we'd go from there.
Real talk coming at you. Daniel asks, many substandard creatine products out there cause serious diarrhea problems.
Ooh.
Can you recommend creatine product that does not have this effect? I don't care about sale price. I care about no diarrhea.
Dude, I think we all care about no diarrhea.
I agree.
Well, you don't want your money to necessarily go down the drain either.
Down the toilet.
But seriously, we're getting a lot of questions about creatine, quality creatine versus substandard, HCl versus mono. So let's just talk a little bit about creatine, what it is, the different versions, and how to avoid getting diarrhea from it.
All right. Well, creatine, as we have said in previous weeks, get out of here.
Yeah.
Creatine, as we have said, is one of the more highly studied supplements. Dozens and dozens of studies have looked at how it can help you with your strength gains, how it can help you maintain energy throughout a workout. And so it's pretty safe to say that creatine supplementation can be a positive thing. Now, not everyone reacts to creatine the same way. There are people who would be kind of considered non-responders to creatine, and one way to maybe try and combat that would be to try one of the different forms. We said creatine's highly studied, but most of those studies are focused on creatine monohydrate. But we have seen a lot of other forms on the market as well, whether it's creatine nitrate or creatine HCl.
Yeah.
And if the question is, do we know if these other forms are better than creatine monohydrate? The answer is we don't know for sure. We know that they still supply creatine to the system. We know that you're still getting gains from this creatine, but are you getting it any better? Are you absorbing it better? Are your strength gains better? And the answer is we just don't know. But with HCl or with nitrate, they are going to be absorbed in a little bit different way. They're going to be metabolized a little bit differently. And so if the monohydrate is not working for you belly-wise, then it might be worth giving one of those other forms a shot.
What about dosing monohydrate versus HCl? Any difference there? It's what, 5?
So with monohydrate, we know that kind of the standard dose is to take 5 grams a day. And you can do the 20 gram per day loading phase for a week and then drop back into 5 grams, or you can just follow a regimen of 5 grams consistently for about a month, and you'll be in that saturated point. I've read some advertising. I've read a couple of studies that have said that HCl requires a lower dose because it dissolves in water a little bit better and thus absorbs in your gut a little bit more efficiently. But at the same time, those studies are kind of few and far between. There haven't been a lot of research on it. Yes, I've seen 1 or 2, but just the general consensus is that creatine monohydrate is very effective, and we haven't really seen a lot of improve strength gains over monohydrate when you're using some of the other forms.
What do you got over here on YouTube? Anything?
Well, somebody making a comment saying creatine does not help you build muscle. It makes your muscles recover quicker. Well, it's kind of
false.
I would say yay and nay.
True and false.
Yeah. So the point of it is that creatine, as Tyler mentioned earlier, it's kind of boost your natural energy levels within your cells. So within that in mind, you're going to be able to get out a couple extra reps, and you're going to be doing this over time. So that will keep building and building.
That's right.
It does help you recover, but by you recovering, you are building muscle.
Right. So building muscle is based on how much intensity you're putting into your workout. And if I have more phosphocreatine in my muscle cells and I'm able to, bang out 1 or 2 more reps on top of what I was doing before, then my strength increases are going to go just a little bit faster. And so yes, you are going to see increases in strength, but no, it's not because the creatine is physically making you stronger. It's just allowing you to hit in a couple extra reps so that you're able to increase that intensity, which in time will increase your strength a little bit more.
Still got to put in the work. It's not a magic pill.
Still got to do it. I have a question over here. Is there a minimal age to take creatine? So a lot of the studies that have looked at creatine have looked at people of kind of standard adult age, whether it be 20 to 40 years old. But there have been studies that have looked at minors. I think they've gone all the way down to, anywhere from 14 to 16 years old.
Usually a smaller dose to see what the effect is.
So they want them to start a little bit smaller, but because creatine works as an energy system, as part of your natural energy, I wouldn't consider it unsafe for people of a younger age. Now, you'd want to talk to your doctor about if it's safe for you, because everyone has their specific needs. But generally, as far as people who are exercising regularly, I don't believe that creatine would have a lot of negative effects if you're taking it in a moderate dose and as a part of a standard diet. So.
Tim is asking, as a 45-year-old lifter with 28 years of continuous lifting, his biggest hurdle now is joint health. Any recommendations on a supplement that he can use to improve in this area?
Yeah, so we see glucosamine and chondroitin supplements all over the place, and I know that glucosamine has plenty of research on it, a lot of long-term research that have looked at people who are taking glucosamine as a part of their regular diet, and they'll look at the space between their joints to make sure they're checking synovial fluid levels and cartilage levels, and they've seen that glucosamine, people who are supplementing with glucosamine generally have seen improvements compared to those who aren't taking it. So,
what about fish oil? Is that just from an inflammation standpoint, or does that actually help with the joints itself?
Let's see, fish oil. So fish oil is a supply of EPA and DHA, and those are some healthy fatty acids that can be good for a number of health reasons. I don't want to say that it decreases whole body inflammation, because that may have implications for disease, and we don't like saying that fish oil helps with disease. But I won't say that it's bad for you. I know that these fatty acids play a role in synovial fluid. They play a role in joint health, and so it may be worth giving fish oil a shot as well. Okay. Not only for the joint health, but for the generalized health as well.
And I would say with fish oil, if you're going to be tracking your food, make sure to count that as you're tracking fats with that as well. Most people kind of overlook that. From a caloric standpoint to pay attention to, you are going to be digesting it properly like that. So, and then to go back with kind of a joint supplement, there are plenty of brands out there now notorious for having glucosamine products. I actually have one on my desk. But then you have like brands like Animal that have relied on like Animal Pack, Animal Flex, that are focusing more on a powerlifting aspect. So it sounds like our gentleman asking the question is more focusing on that. So I would say look at the products like that. Stick to the directions, and just know that it's also important to read up on what you want to take with it too. So glucosamine is definitely one of the heavy hitters in that one.
What do you got over here on Twitch?
It's actually pretty quiet on the Western Front.
YouTubes?
What you guys take on test boosters? What is our take on test boosters?
Well, like Alex said,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like Alex said before, fenugreek is kind of our big fallback. There's quite a few studies on fenugreek that have looked at how it affects body's free testosterone or available testosterone. And I've seen it as a part of testosterone boosters a little bit more frequently, because there is quite a bit of data on it. I know a lot of times you'll see D-aspartic acid as a part of some test boosters, but unfortunately the studies on D-aspartic are either very positive or very negative. And because of that conflicting evidence, sometimes I say you can try it. I mean, it's not going to kill you to try 3.2 grams of D-aspartic acid, which is generally the dose that they look at. It's not going to hurt you. And I would say give it a shot and see if it's successful, and if not, maybe go towards a fenugreek product.
And the biggest one with that too is just with test boosters to kind of think about is that if you're 20 and you're thinking about taking a test booster, you're running a full bore as it is anyway, unless you've actually been to a doctor and they've run a blood panel on you saying, hey, you are low in testosterone. Sometimes it's not necessarily worth it. If you're on the kind of a little bit more lethargic in your late 20s to early 30s, it might be time to consider that, just because testosterone does decline naturally over time. But until a physician actually tells you that, don't necessarily think that's the main cause.
A lot of articles too that talk about better rest to support your healthy hormone levels. So it seems like a lot of protocols either recommend like a ZMA or a GABA or something like that, but is that just to help you sleep more, or is that actually increasing testosterone?
Well, we know that sleep is an extremely important part of any exercise regimen. If you're not getting, between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night, then a lot of the gains that you're trying to get may just, wash away, because your body is spending so much extra energy trying to stay awake, trying to deal with the stress that would normally be remedied by sleep. It's really important. And so taking a ZMA product, taking a GABA product, maybe help you relax, help you wind down at the end of the day, might not be a bad idea to help with the recovery.
Get your rest, recover. It's going to help you a lot.
Absolutely.
Let's see, I have a couple questions here. One, where'd it go? Oh, what is your guys' take on CLA supplements, specifically from Cellucor? But I had another question about CLA in general. Does it help you getting lean? CLA for fat loss. Go.
So I've done quite a bit of research on CLA because I know we have a lot of products pass our desk trying to say that CLA is great for weight loss. And the answer is yes, it can be used to help increase basal metabolic rate. The problem is the dose. A lot of times people are trying to put way less than they need to in a product. I see 500 mgs or 700, 150 milligrams in a product, but a lot of the studies that are looking at CLA from a standpoint of fat loss use a dose around 3 grams, which I know seems like a lot, and sometimes it feels like kind of a horse pill, but that's where the research lies. That's what I've been able to find. If you want to use CLA as a part of your weight loss regimen, it's not a bad idea because
you could spread that out over the day.
Yeah, you don't have to eat it all.
Do a
at once,
gram,
and that's fine.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner or something.
But
like
as long as your dose is high enough, 3 grams is what they say has been successful. So be aware of those nutrition facts panels, or supplement facts panels, I should say, and make sure you're getting what you need.
Cool. And thanks again for tuning in. This is our weekly show where we talk about supplements, what's on promotion, and we field your questions about supplementation, nutrition, fitness, whatever it might be. We'll try to answer your questions. You can reach us on Twitch. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. Be sure to follow us on Instagram as well and Twitter at Bodybuilding.com. Hit us up anytime. Even if we're offline on this show, you can always ask us a question on social media, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And we also have a customer service team here that's here almost all day to field your questions, not just about your package or where it might be or your order, but we can also try to answer some of your questions around your health, nutrition, and appearance goals.
Exactly. And just to reiterate, with the sale today, it's 5 brands across the entire line. MuscleTech, MusclePharm, True Grit, Fitmiss,
GAT.
And GAT.
Use the code SUMMER2017.
25% off, all of it. I got a question over here on Twitch. Alec, this might be a good one for you. They ask Ty Fyrus, or TV Fyrus, is whey, hydrolysate, or isolate really worth it over concentrate?
I would say when it comes back to what is your goal with it, if you're trying to track and you're trying to do like either lean bulk or you want to try to cut down, I always recommend just doing isolate. It's always worth the extra bit. That's why I usually bounce back and forth between throughout the year. It's easier in the long run if you're just trying to get straight protein. Otherwise, if you don't really care, you want a little bit sugary, a little sugar taste to it, by all means, hop on a concentrate. I know that if you have a little bit more of a touchy stomach, isolate all the way. A lot of it comes down to kind of the taste. They've made things taste a hell of a lot better in the isolate realm than they used to. So
they've done a really good job.
Daniel from Spain is asking, hi, regards from Spain.
Hey, Spain.
I've never had pre-workouts, and I'm usually fine with my coffee before working out, but I would love to get those crazy pumps, and I've read that PE Science High Volume is a great option. What do you think about this? And he also says, awesome show. Well, thank you very much. Never taken a pre-workout. Can't relate. Take pre-workout all day, every day. It's the best. But what can you take? The PE Science High Volume he references, or
I've never heard that supplement before, so I'm not sure.
it's a product we sell.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's solid. I would say there are a lot of pump products that you can try out on there. If you're trying to stick to kind of basics, there's always single fill ingredients like citrulline. I know Cage Muscle has a straight L-citrulline product that's fantastic.
I know this Nitraflex. It says hypermia on the label, and that's just talking about muscle pumps, right?
Yeah.
And what are the ingredients in here that would help with that goal as well?
I believe they have citrulline malate in there.
Correct.
And on top,
What do you got?
citrulline malate, arginine, AKG, resveratrol, and P-pterostilbene.
Yeah, I'd recommend trying a pre-workout. I mean, depending on when you train, can be really beneficial. I know these guys train in the morning, so I'm sure they need a little get up and go on their way to the gym. I myself train after work, where I feel like I need it even more. It's been a full day. You've kind of had your meals. You've had your kind of energy spike for the day anyway, and then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I need to get up again. So pre-workout, live by it. Helps me get a great workout, and I use it more for the energy properties than the pump. The pump's nice, but I feel like water and carbs also help you accomplish that really well.
I like all the above.
Yeah.
All of the above.
I looked up the high volume here on our website just to kind of see what was in it. And it looks like it's a really big pump product, but it's not a big energy product. So it has the high amounts of citrulline malate. It's got the arginine nitrate to help with those pumps. And so if you want to kind of maintain that pump feel, but also get the extra energy that comes with some of the other pre-workouts, make sure you're looking for some of those ingredients. Again, like I said before, you can search by ingredient. So if you search for citrulline, see what pre-workouts pop up. I know like Ergo Pre has got a big dose of citrulline in it. Yeah. I know that the new C4 Ultimate also has a big dose of citrulline in it as well, along with that caffeine. So those may be good places to try. They're both pretty high in caffeine, so I'd probably start out with half a scoop or 3/4 of a scoop just to see how you feel with all that stimulant, because that, getting the 300 mgs of caffeine right away would be a really big bump. But yeah, those might be a good place to start, just because they have some of the ingredients that you say you like, but also some stim as well. So maybe worth checking out.
All right, the questions are slowing down a little bit. I have one coming in. I just started working out. What supplements do you recommend?
Ooh, so basics I always recommend. Obviously protein, creatine, and if you want a pre-workout, yes, and maybe a multivitamin. Those are my staples.
Starter pack, yeah.
Good starter pack, yeah. Yep. Should get you where you need to be. You got the multivitamin to cover all your nutritional needs, and the protein to get your gains, and pre-workout to get the energy. Not
the
bad.
rocket fuel.
That's right.
If you will.
Let's see. Wes says, take no supplements, brother. Well, supplements are just that. I think you don't need these supplements to achieve your goals. But when you are training, 5 days a week and you're busting your butt and you're getting that recovery in, I feel like supplements do help. So Are they necessary? Absolutely not. Whole foods, training, it's effective. But if you're really going hard, I think these products can help fill in the gaps. I know I really like to take a pre-workout before I work out. Do I need to? No, but when I've had workouts without it, I feel they're less effective. I don't have quite the energy. I'm not as focused. A lot of times I don't get the same pump. Can you get all your, protein, all your grams of protein per day from whole foods? Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of food. I find it's a little easier to supplement with a shake or two here and there. So why wouldn't you take every competitive advantage when you're trying to lose fat, build muscle? And that's what we're here to supplement your your whole foods nutrition.
I mean, in a perfect world, we would have we wouldn't have to work each day. That would be fantastic, even though it's a benefit working here. We would have unlimited time to cook, or have somebody cook for us in that instance to have just a perfect diet, but that's just not reality. Sometimes you need to literally supplement your day with these. You don't need to take everything under the sun. You can do everything within a budget as well.
True.
Most of us that are here, we're probably in the area in Boise where we went to school over here, and I know myself, I was able to supplement while getting my bachelor's, and it wasn't too straining. But yeah, I would say just, what are your goals? What's your budget? And it's, again, what Keith said, it's a competitive advantage that is well within the realms of budget. And I don't know, just reaping the benefits of something as simple as creatine, which is the cheapest supplement in the market. And just adding that alone over long term will benefit you.
And then we have a question here that's come up a few times from the same person. Where to go? We're talking about the main difference between whey concentrate and whey isolate. Which one is the best for building lean muscle during a bulking phase? And also, do you guys recommend if I switch taking casein every 3 months or so after using whey? By the way, I'm 20.
Okay, so there's a couple pieces there.
Yep.
So the first part is asking if concentrate is better, worse, the same as isolate. And so it comes down to the manufacturing of it. So whey concentrate, or I should say, let's start with whey isolate, has been processed just a little bit more to make sure that it is only whey protein. It has less sugar, it has less fat, it is more isolated protein. Whereas the concentrate may have a little bit more lactose in there, may have a little bit more of the milk fat. And so generally per gram of protein, you might have a couple more calories in that shake. And so if you're talking about gaining muscle, you'd want the calories. I would probably lean towards more of a gainer product that had some extra sugar in there, that had some of those carbs to help you get the calories that you need to gain muscle. But if you're asking me just straight like quality of protein, you're getting the same protein. You're still getting whey protein. It's just, are you getting those extra sugars?
Is there any need to cycle casein every 3 months?
I have never read anything about cycling casein. Casein is just the other half of milk when it comes to whey protein versus the whey and curds. So casein comes from the curds of protein. That protein is generally mixed in with a little bit higher volume of fat, and that fat makes it a little bit more challenging for your stomach to digest it. As such, it digests slower. Your blood amino acids don't go up quite as high, quite as fast, but they are maintained for a lot longer. That's why a lot of people take Casine as a nighttime supplement. That way you have protein in your belly for a number of hours after you go to sleep.
One last reminder, we have a promotion going on, 25% off the brands that we featured today. Use the code SUMMER2017 for 25% off. All the products in this promotion on orders over $49 will ship free. And Bodybuilding.com now offers free gifts on all orders over $75. So no more tiers, $99, $150, $200. That's gone, $75. Check it out.
Nice.
Shop with us, and you can get free shipping on orders over $49 on thousands of top products now.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next week fielding your questions about not only the promotions that we have going on, but about your fitness goals. If you have any questions about supplementation, nutrition, shoot them over to us. We're hoping to get some special guests on here from time to time.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll try to address them. And if you have any questions while the show's not going on, hit us up on social media. Follow us at Bodybuilding.com. You can always hit up our customer service. You can chat in, call in, email. They can answer questions about your status of your order, but also about your goals. So hit us up. Let us know what you're doing, what you're working on, how we can help.
All right.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Thank you.
Boom.